The real intro. Pew, 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 pew.
I actually love that. Combine that with shouting out Kyle for bringing some lovely wine for tonight's recording sesh. Get this. That sounded great.
Oh, that sounded amazing.
That was really clean.
I'm actually like, I get why people are sexually aroused by ASMR now.
Oh, yeah.
You can subscribe to our OnlyFans account, the MoxStars podcast, where we'll be doing ASMR openings.
I'll be pouring a lot more than wine. What's up, guys? Welcome to the MoxStars podcast. My name is Jordan Garcia, and I'm one of your hosts here today. I am joined by Evan Kunai.
What's up?
A classic, a fan favorite, some might say. And the other, Chris Ritter. Just kidding, he's still dead. We'll see if he's alive next week. He's actually gone on vacation with his lovely missus. So,
Best wishes, Ritter. Best
yeah, enjoy your vacation. It's just depressing in Seattle here right now. Fuck you. But Kyle, lovely Kyle, is once again joining us here.
Hello.
Hi, Kyle.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. And we are doing a spicy episode. We just got done with our Phyrexia All Will Be One set review. I guess we call it a set review. It was kind of our highlights of every color. And Kyle actually brewed a nice, actually I'd say a glorious deck for us today. But before we get into that, check out all our socials. All our links down below. Hit us up, subscribe, like, do that other thing. The bell. That was the thing.
Yeah, the little bell.
The little bell thing that we always forget about the bells, guys.
Ding, ding, ding.
Make that motherfucker ding. I'm sorry for saying fucker. Okay, guys. Kyle, will you read Mother... no, I was going to say Mother...
Whoa.
Whoa.
I've got something to talk about before we talk about Kyle's Elesh Norn.
Hold the frickin' phone. Evan's got beef.
Did you know that in the state of Wisconsin a little
beef.
side tangent here.
No, please.
I read this article today. Did you know
cheese.
that in the state of Wisconsin, Magic the Gathering and all Magic the Gathering product, books, literature, anything like that, are banned in prisons?
Oh, because it's gambling.
No, it's not gambling. So here, let me read you an excerpt from this article I read today, which kind of just blew my mind. And I get it after reading it, but it's also a little bit of a dated concept. So check this out. The DOC spokesman wrote, historically, fantasy role-playing games have been denied as they can create a ranked structure amongst those who play, which is prohibited in a prison environment. More than a decade ago, battles with fictional dragons and wizards turned into a battle in federal courts. A Wisconsin inmate and avid Dungeons & Dragons fan named Kevin Singer sued the Waupun Correctional Institution after a security supervisor there said he got an anonymous letter from an inmate claiming Singer and others were forming a D&D quote-unquote gang.
Wow.
Officials searched Singer's cell in 2004 and confiscated 21 books and 14 magazines related to Dungeons & Dragons. They also took a 96-page instructional manual that Singer had handwritten himself describing imaginary worlds called campaign settings where D&D gameplay can take place. And that is why they banned Magic the Gathering.
Oh, fucking
because you could... They said that it takes you to another mental space, which proves to be a dangerous threat to security. So they've banned pretty much all fantasy literature and anything like that because you could have a sense of escapism from your prison sentence.
That's so fucking stupid.
They said you can't escape into your own mind.
Yeah, no, they're just like, you're here.
You're in prison, bitch. You can read Clifford the Big Red Dog until you leave, which is never.
Also, as someone who DMs for a very long time and has written their own world, and to hear that 25 pages worth of lore got confiscated and taken away, just hurts.
Yep. So in 2004, this is the lawsuit that took place in the following year, a judge had deemed a prison official compared a D&D dungeon master is someone who gives instructions to other players, to the leader of a gang. They said being a D&D dungeon master is the same as being a gang leader in a prison environment.
What a cunt, dude. I don't know who that was, but fucking kill yourself. That's insane.
If you were to play Magic against somebody, you would, if you had a stronger deck, you would be above that person in a societal ranking.
I just imagine
that environment.
What a great tool D&D could be for inmates.
No, they use it a bunch of other places.
Yeah, you could use it for
popular in Washington.
Yeah, you grow social skills. You can occupy your time while you're in jail. Like, there's so many skills you can learn from it, and like, they're actually leading people to like, what are you going to do if you don't have fun things to do? Like read fucking Lord of the Rings or play D&D. You'll probably join an actual gang in prison, right? Like, what if you were doing wholesome activities like learning and making friends?
Knitting circle.
Knitting, like, yeah. That'll be a gang. Like, someone has to teach these people how to knit, right?
They can't have knitting.
Yeah, no. The teacher is the leader, is the ringleader.
The ringleader, the gang member. There's drugs in the yarn. They can make shivs out of the needles.
Yeah, so it turns out in 2010 that Singer appealed the decision, and the judge threw out the appeal, said, nah. So now here we are in 2023, and it's finally coming up again that fantasy materials such as Magic the Gathering has been banned in the Wisconsin prison system due to a sense of escapism and potential security threat.
Don't forget it's also
Magic cards.
Devil's Worship. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
This is actually a live action interview because I happen to have somebody from Wisconsin here with us on mic today. Do you feel proud of yourself?
Oh, I'm incredibly... Oh, hi, this is Evan. I'm from Wisconsin, and I am incredibly disappointed. I'm honestly disappointed.
That's pretty fucking lame, dude.
Well, I get it, though. Like you open a few packs in prison, someone sends you a gift, you get a few packs, and, someone pulls that Elesh Norn. All of a sudden, someone's sitting on a pretty hefty trade. You get a few packs of cigarettes for that bad boy. So...
Wouldn't want that to happen.
Here's the thing.
No.
Anybody who's in the Wisconsin state, prison system, you're not going to hear this episode until you're out in the open and free of the system, because this is a fantasy podcast.
Oh, shit.
But we speak on real and true things that mean a lot to us.
Yeah, the MoxStars are getting political with Ritter away. This is
damn
a dangerous precedent.
Getting off the rails here, getting deep.
All right.
I won't start on the industrial prison conflict.
Do not.
It's at least 5 more minutes.
On that 5 more. On that note, we're doing a deck workshop today.
We're talking about Mother of frickin' Runes. God, we can't call her mom.
Kyle, who are we talking about?
Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines.
All right.
4 generic mana and a white, 5 CMC. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Parader, has vigilance still. If a permanent enters the battlefield, causes an ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Also, permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. It's also a 4/7.
4/7. Wow.
Panharmonicon.
Just because why not?
Plus a Hushwing Griff.
Let's just, okay, yeah. Let's just be real, though. 4 generic and 1 white for a 4/7 at common with no abilities. That's good enough to be played.
Like, I love that they made her way cheaper, and they're like, I mean, she's still got to be a 4/7. It's still Elesh Norn.
It's Elesh Norn, yeah.
And Vigilance, of course.
They didn't make Shieldred a whatever 6 whatever that she is.
No, probably adjusted it because it was less casting cost. No, that's crazy.
What is she now?
She's a 4/4.
She's a 4 for 4.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That does make sense. But this card does not make sense.
Absolutely not.
It's incredible.
No, yeah.
And it's got 2 paragraphs on it. So let's start with the first one.
Okay, so it doubles everything.
It doubles every ETB, which turns out there's a lot of ETBs out there.
So many ETBs.
And the second one negates all ETBs.
Because there's a lot of ETBs.
There's actually a lot of ETBs out there. It's fucking crazy.
And Kyle, you sent us a list here.
I did.
It's a great looking list.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your deck and how you built it to achieve optimal success in your own way.
Yeah, we've played about 4 or 5 games with it at this point.
Yeah, we just constantly kill Elesh Norn. So we never get to see it work.
I think
true.
We should also say that this deck has never won.
Yeah, have dogpiled it since day one.
Yes, completely. And
It's because your first game you were extremely threatening, so we had to stop you. It's not like you were.
I think I played Elesh Norn on like turn 3, not maybe 2. Yeah,
But you have other bad.
it's so easy to play.
Yeah, it is ridiculously easy.
And so what I went with was just ETBs, everything.
ETV's everything.
All the ETBs, and kind of played it where I just kind of did like mono white control in a way where I was like, well, I get to say what actually stays on the field.
Right, and we'll have this deck list in the description below so you guys can check it out too, and so you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, you can definitely like follow through and kind of look at some of the crazy stuff we have in here. So we have 32 creatures, which makes sense. We're going for a high ETB package.
Super, and they're also very cheap. Most of them are very cheap.
It's actually true. You have run a very low curve. I definitely thought it'd be higher.
Yeah, for the most part, everything's 3 CMC or less.
Yeah. It's just crazy when you just get 2 of the ETB instead of 1 of the ETB. It's just crazy what starts to happen in the game. Like Skyclave Apparition is insane. Lauren of the Third Path was a great new addition in white. Busted. Once you start getting the ETB to flicker something else that has an ETB, now you're doubling that and then doubling the future ETB. Shit just gets out the rails really quick for like 5 mana.
Also, say just a simple card, Solemn Simulacrum. 4 mana suddenly gets you 2 tapped lands. Just casually.
You have a few combos in here. I'm just seeing like right off the bat. Like if you guys take a look at the creature list here, Karmic Guide and Felidar Guardian, 2 very well-known combo pieces in Boros or Naya, however you want to play it, but with Kiki Jiki. But here, what's really cool is because you get the double triggers and how it all resolves with a single sack outlet, you can just win the game.
Yeah,
like. You get
Altar of Dementia.
Yeah, you have infinite loops. So like here, Altar of Dementia, just for being a 2-drop artifact, mills all of your opponents out for assembling 2 out of 3 pieces, which usually wins the game.
There's a few infinite loops in here, like combos. Just completely blinking them, bringing them back, mainly with Sun Titan.
Sun Titan's so sick.
And usually Felidar Guardian, right?
Right.
So we're looking at those, and then usually it's just milling all the creatures. There's one combo with Blasting Station right there, and that also gets me infinite damage instead of the mill.
Nice.
Ooh, yep, I love that.
But for the most part, those are the only win cons. That's what I will say. What is hard with this deck? There's also Blightsteel and Blade of Selves, but that's just mean.
Blade of Selves is so sick.
Also,
It's not mean.
it's a little mean.
No.
Tons of seasons. Tons of mana.
If anything,
It
like
is a lot of mana.
it is a lot of mana. I would say that like that's more flavor for you, like that you love to see. You want to see the Blightsteel
Yes.
happen. I don't think it's like it necessarily the optimal way of winning.
No, it is not.
It's like if it happens, it happens.
But
Blade of Selves not an optimal slot, but if you get triple ETBs that all get doubled, then fucking go off, king.
ETBs right off the bat.
Yeah.
There's that enchantment that's 8 mana. It's mono white that says all creatures you control have myriad.
Yes.
That is
dude.
I didn't understand it until my brother had sent me his list for Yoshimaru and like having permanents enter the battle, legendary permanents enter the battlefield. I was like, why do you have that in there? And he's like, well, I get all these freaking triggers. And I was just
one
like,
shot somebody.
That is an amazing card. It's expensive though.
it's just high on the mana cost.
high mana cost.
It's like really hard to get there, especially even in casual games, unless you're obviously playing like your Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, and that's like what you're tunneling is like high CMC creatures or just getting Elesh Norn out. But now I see Elesh Norn in this light where Blade of Selves actually looks really, really good.
Yeah, because you get what? Let's see. Let's look at the deck list.
Yeah, I love the Skyclave apparition with like a Blade of Selves is ridiculous.
You get to exile 6 permanents.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my
Right?
god.
So it's just like, oh, why do I need board wipes in this thing when I can clear the board on attack?
Yeah, especially when you're playing so many permanents. Like, it is a much lighter on the removal or like I guess mass removal like than white is used to seeing. Just because your single target removal is just gassed up by the ETB. Like you're playing On Thin Ice, Oblivion Ring, all these kind of Grasp of Fate, Touch the Spirit Realm. There's so many of these effects we've seen. And the fact that you just get to double, they're now just 1 for 2 removal spells that are so cheap to cast that there is really no reason to play board wipes. Portable Hole is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have so many of them, and I've just seen them pop off in just a few games that we've played. Solitude is another one. Like, you can just get anything that's in your way is no longer in your way.
But I will say, we played this deck many, many times. Elesh Norn leaves the battlefield every turn.
Yeah, I mean, we have to kill Elesh Norn.
Elesh Norn dies every turn.
On a single go around. And like, that is the strength to some cards. It is the weakness to some cards. This is clearly a card designed for Commander, not necessarily standard.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things where until you might read it, and it's just like Ragavan, where when Ragavan was announced, people read it and they go, I don't understand how that's so good. Why is it $90? And then you play it once, you have it in your hand, you play it once on turn one, and you know. Like, that's how you just know at that point. And it's until you play against Elesh Norn is when you finally realize how good it is. And you finally realize how much of your deck relies on enter the battlefield effects.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I need to remove this ASAP. And that's when it started to click in on the first game, where it's just like, well, let me cast my Spell Seeker so I can go get a removal spell. And it's like, can't do that.
Can't do it.
Can't cast your Dockside to ramp to get more cards to maybe find a board wipe.
Exactly. Some of the best cards in the game are ETB focused, including Thassa's Oracle.
Exactly. So you're shutting off options. You're shutting off tutors for removal. You're shutting off win cons. It is honestly a really amazing card on what it can hit, and then also what it enables at the same time. Like we've said a few times recently in the set review, we're starting to see these like stacks-based cards that also have a huge like value engine staple to them, and that we never really had that in the past, not to these degrees. And so we're kind of in new territory almost. We're seeing what these cards can do, and Elesh Norn is so far, it's MoMmY. It's big bad.
It is MoMmY.
Yeah.
I will say, so like when I was building this, I didn't even consider the second like stacks piece, right? The turning off of ETB.
You were just all in ETBs.
Yeah, all in
Panharmonicon in the command zone.
Exactly. And then once you actually get it on the field, you're like, oh, we're going to get ready for an hour long to an hour and a half long game, because it shuts everything off. And if you don't consider it as like when you're building the deck, like, oh, I need to win. No, you're just making it so slow.
Right. If you build the deck for value instead of combo, the game is going to go forever.
Which I did on the first time. It was really bad because I can easily play I played Elesh Norn all the way to when she costs 20 mana in total or something like that.
It was getting so
getting
silly.
up there, yeah.
And I can easily pay for it. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll pay the 20.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, it's just what she allows white to catch up on such a degree. Like, the amount of cards you draw in game is insane in mono white. Like, Rumor Gatherer was a huge boon to white, but it was a card that was kept pretty in check. Mm-hmm. But when you put Elesh Norn on the battlefield, it's a card that is no longer in check. It is a creature ETB scry 1 draw card in white, which is insane.
Yeah, and while you only get it once per turn, it's still like, okay, if I'm doubling, like, let's say you have a Maria Shepherd out, and every time you play a land, you're going to get 2 birds. One of those birds is scry 1 draw a card. The other one is scry 1.
Scry 1.
Still a ton of value.
So in one turn, it's scry 2 draw 1 card. That's a lot of card advantage mono white is not used to having.
Yeah, and like for me, when I think about scrying, I determine its value to be about half of a card draw, because you're still given information. While the card isn't in your hand, you can still have the option to either see that card in the future or not see it in the future at all.
Right. And how many times have you scried and be like, oh, that is hot trash. If I drew that, I was losing this game.
Just put it right
like
under.
That is a very valuable thing you just got to do.
Yeah, Rumor Gatherer turns out to be one of the better cards 100%. In the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good when it came out, and it's only proven just to be great in white.
Yeah, it turns out that when you have a commander that is almost solely focused on enter the battlefield effects, having an effect that cares about entering the battlefield seems really good. Such as, all of these cabaret cards that have, is it Alliance? Is that what it is? Sort of like printed on them. Is that what the keyword is? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But
you're the cabaret guy.
I am the cabaret guy. I'm the cabaret lord. But yeah, like that whole New Capenna mechanic with the cabaret having, oh god, it's killing me. I can't really think about it. What is it? Damn. I'm so dumb right now.
I don't know.
Rumor Gatherer, where are you?
This is great radio.
Kyle, you're not even playing Rumor Gatherer.
I'm not. I was letting you guys go off. It wasn't even in the deck.
What? What was letting you draw a million cards?
Wedding ring.
Oh God. Okay, so
we have a story about this card.
yeah, Wedding Ring gets fucking crazy when you get to do 2 of them.
Yep, and you gain a lot of life too.
We're not even. I don't even think we need to go into it. I just think go read Wedding Ring and then imagine 2 other opponents, so 3 total people having it at a table.
Yeah. The more I scroll through this list and the more that I understand Elesh Norn, the more I realize that stuff that is just generically good is just still
amazing.
Yeah.
Disgustingly good.
Yeah, disgustingly good in this deck. So, yeah, I don't like there are so many white effects that have allowed it to catch up over time, like being able to like go search your library for lands if someone controls more than you, like Archaeomancer's map. You know, you get to Archaeomancer's map has the unconditional effect that when it enters the battlefield, search for up to 2 basic planes and then put them into your hand. And then also the other side where it's like you can put a land out if your opponent controls more and they play a land. But the fact that you just get to pull, you get to rip 4 cards out of your library does a lot for consistency and guarantees your land drops moving forward. I think that's another card that just like goes bonkers in this. Ephemerate is a great card just in general. And it now has a home here. It just gets better and better the more you realize that on someone's end step, you can flicker something, and then on your upkeep, get that effect again. So, Solitude. You know, it's like one of those things where with the evoke trigger on the stack, I'm going to ephemerate it real quick. It's going to come back. I'll ephemerate it again, potentially exiling 6 things.
You just keep going.
Yeah, Ephemerate's not new, but the other 2 cards you just named are like pretty recent additions. We've seen white over the last 2 years just get tons and tons of attention. And it feels like it was like almost ramping to this giant crescendo recently that landed us into Elesh Norn. Like it felt like there was this whole lead up, this whole ramp of energy of like giving white the support. And there's like, all right, finally the commander to top it all off and make this actually a psychotic solo color is Elesh Norn.
I think Elesh Norn just pushed white to the top, personally.
As far as like all single colors like soloing each other, like it's pretty up there. Like it's
just oppressive.
It's got a lot of value and oppression. One card I really wanted to call out because I think it is truly amazing in this deck is Luminous Broodmoth.
Yes.
I think it's a card that already doesn't get enough love for how valuable it is. And when you combine it with the deck that Kyle has here with just the endless ETBs, and not only the ETBs, but like the cycling of things, the flickering out of the graveyards with the Felidar Guardians, it's so easy for you to lose the counter to then have it die to something else to get the counter again. I think it's just such a breakable card, and we don't talk about how breakable this card is.
Yeah, with Luminous Broodmoth, if it's on the battlefield and you have a sack outlet, it almost feels a lot like your Junji deck, where it's like you can just roll for value for a long time.
This feels better now that, I mean, Luminous Broodmoth did not just have a home that like really fine-tuned it. I think this might be a great deck for it, honestly, and I think it feels better to me now than Junji does because you have all these cards that take advantage of this engine. Like anything that says ETB plus Elesh Norn and Luminous Broodmoth engine is just a disgusting powerhouse. And to a level that I just don't think Junji could keep up with.
Yeah, I think that having something that exiles on this, like if you can exile something like Flicker It, right, with the Luminous Broodmoth on the battlefield with a sack outlet, you know, it's just like seems kind of crazy the amount of value you can generate where it just like flickers itself, you kill it, it comes back with a flying counter, you flicker it, it loses the flying counter, you sack it, it comes back, it, you know, there's some loops you can create now.
You get a Charming Prince plus one other creature in there and it just starts getting insane.
Yeah, yep.
You know what's funny? You guys put a lot more thought of that than I did. I just put it in there to save Elesh Norn from dying.
Which one?
Luminous Broodmoth.
Oh, really? Oh, no. It's like, it is like, I believe it's a genuine, like, amazing engine in this deck.
Okay, yeah.
Because flickering will remove the counter every single time. So it's just, your whole deck flickers.
Just imagine a Ranger Captain with the Luminous Broodmoth on the battlefield.
Yeah.
You sack it to stop someone from winning the game, and then it just comes right back.
What I really need to put in here is Phyrexian Unlife. So nothing gets a counter. Nothing just flickers.
That's
Actually, that might be kind of cool.
yeah, that would be really cool because then you could just generate. You could actually put more sack outlets in here. I think.
Oh, I think that'd be amazing.
There are more like.
There are more broken ways to make this deck.
Right. There are ways to make this vicious. And I guess, like your deck here has a lot of personality and a lot of fun in it. And
It does. It does have fun slots, which I do appreciate for sure.
But if you were to boil this down and you were to like say, I want to take this as high as it can go, there are a lot of vicious lines of strategy that you could employ to make your opponent's lives miserable.
I mean, there's always some genius working on a mono white CDH deck that puts up numbers, gets great results at tournaments, and like they do that with kind of terrible commanders. They're now starting to get great cards and great commanders to back them up. I think we'll start seeing a lot more showing up. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an Elesh Norn in one of the new CDH tournaments coming up.
I don't know if it could make it to the top. Like that, maybe this is just a point of conversation. I don't know if it could make it to the top because of how big of how much attention it draws to like from the eye. Like you see it, you see it in the command zone, and you're immediately exposed. And it's like if I play Elesh Norn, it is either I win the game due to some value that I generate because it is a stacks piece that is very vulnerable and it will die because I don't have a way to protect it outside of like very limited options. No counter magic is what I'm saying. Like
you just play the stacks game. I think you just gotta be smarter. You gotta like these people are really smart because they have limited resources and they know when to play them.
Yeah, I would love to eat crow on this.
Like I think you just play the stacks game, you play your Dranathon 2, all that kind of shit, and then Elesh Norn comes down when she needs to come down. She'll give you the value to keep grinding, but it's stopping the Docksides. It's stopping the Thassa's Oracle. Like if you can get that down by turn 2 or 3, when these Grixis decks and these like Rakdos decks are ready to pop off, I think it definitely has legs. I think it's an amazing stacks piece, and having a stacks piece to this caliber in the command zone is insane. Like we've seen Yasharn pop up a few times because he is a reliable stacks piece, and I just think that Elesh Norn is that, but just on such a higher level because her effect is so much more powerful.
Yeah, and I think people see that higher level, which is why I'm
totally. It definitely has more of a target. 100% has more of a target
because it says to a lot of those greedy like ad nauseam decks that I can't win if that is on the battlefield.
I just think they're going to be so greedy that they're not even going to consider it. I think any deck like that is just like, you're a creature deck. I'm just not even going to think about you.
They're going to try to outrace it.
Well, yes,
Underworld Breach allows them to do that.
Yeah, Elesh Norn does have, that terrifying eminence to her, but I just still think that they're going to undervalue. I think they're going to undervalue because it's a creature-based deck. You're playing like a bunch of white weenies.
Yes.
I think if you're the pilot of across the table from this Elesh Norn deck, you tunnel Underworld Breach as fast as possible to win the game instead. Because then you get to see your whole library, you get to cast your removal instantaneously, go for a silence or whatever, and then win the game, right? So as long as you're a good enough player, you can dance around it, though I do think you're right in its power, like Elesh Norn's power in general, is going to be enough to win a lot of games.
I think there's a lot of games you're not going to be able to win through Underworld Breach, like getting you out of things. Like I think sometimes you will, because sometimes you'll be able to assemble LED brain freeze kind of combo, and you can, instead of hitting yourself to hit a Thassa's Oracle, you hit everybody else so they draw it on their upkeep. Like there's that world, but that requires so much mana, and if you were really doing that without a Dockside at any point in that chain, like good on you. And but like if you are really, you have to win with Breach, without Dockside, without Thoracle. That's one card. Like how many, like one other card in your path is just going to completely derail you. Like the whole thing of stacks is just shutting down the opportunities to win. And if one card is putting you on such a thin wire that you're walking, I just think that is a huge advantage.
Totally. I think that speaks to the power of this deck, which is why it promotes and generates so much conversation. That's why it promoted and generated so much conversation when it was spoiled. And another reason why it's
still
$40 for the base variant.
Yeah, base is like 44, 49, something like that now.
Yeah. So
disgusting.
It's right.
I just print cards. I don't even know what the prices are anymore.
Yeah,
I stopped buying cards.
Elesh Norn is the reason for that.
Yeah.
Plus, there's also 22 different versions that you could potentially buy.
She's definitely like a card that she has like the big hype leading up before the set drops, and she's obviously expensive, and there's all the collector things, but I also think she is going to have the staying power. I think she's going to be in
so too.
multiple formats. She's going to be in constructed formats. I think we're going to see at least some fringe CDH decks with it. We're definitely going to be seeing it in casual CDH or casual commanders.
Yeah, all the hype, all the price, everything that follows with it is justified, and that's why it's terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think she can be a casual.
I don't casual no, but I don't think most Elesh Norn's decks that we come across are not going to be the CDH deck that I think.
No.
If you play with an open mind, like at your table, in your pod, you rule zero, that anything goes, this is a fun deck to play against because it
is a fun deck.
It forces you into different directions that you wouldn't normally go because it is so easy to fall into the standard patterns of play dockside, generate value, go for big boom.
Yeah. And like, honestly, we're looking at kind of coming back to CDH. We've been taking a little bit of a break, kind of like looking at the new decks we want to build. I want to build something that's not that. I want to build some like kind of off skew.
All the creatures.
Like we've been seeing tons of success with creature-based strategies lately. There's like these new combined legendaries. We see the Thalia Gitrog coming out. And again, it's that stacks plus like value engine stapled together. And I'm really interested to start exploring these. And now that we're getting ones that are multiple colors, 2-3 colors, like I think that's going to open up a lot of viability for kind of new decks to explore as well.
Yeah, I think what I didn't do with this deck is lean into stacks enough.
I mean, you could definitely, if you were going to be that guy and try and win.
But then I'd just be a dick.
Well,
it's already such a tough deck to play against. Like you're already destroying everything, exiling, and playing Elesh Norn. I see why you would keep it a little more cash.
Yeah, you didn't even put your favorite card in this deck.
I did not put Lightning Greaves in here. Which would honestly save Elesh Norn half the time.
Right.
I mean, I think it's fine to like play Greaves, protect Elesh Norn. It's your strategy.
Still, I also run both Mother of Runes and whatever.
Skrelvi.
Yeah, all three of them.
So if
Skrelvis.
If you were to go through
Giver
this,
of Runes.
Yeah, great card.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Giver of Runes, Mother of Runes, and that bug.
If you were to go
Skrelvis.
through
Thank you.
this list and pick your favorite creature, your favorite, well, there's one sorcery.
He would pick that regardless.
Pick, like,
A favorite sorcery.
Yeah, like your favorite creature, your favorite artifact, and like your most flavorful enchantment that maybe only
Even best
you are
land.
playing. Yeah, in your best land. What would you say those are?
Okay, so favorite of each card. Card type that you were saying. Okay. I'd probably go. Well, let's just get the sorcery out of the way. I believe it. Did I leave Armageddon here? Yes, I did.
That was the sorcery we're talking about.
Yeah, it's
the one and
the
only sorcery.
Only sorcery. And I will say it's because the artifact mana base of this deck is really good. And I don't need lands.
There's another board wipe that's like choose one creature you control, destroy the rest.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
What about Farewell in this deck though? That would just be so crisp, so clean.
Oh, but see, it's not like with Armageddon in here, right? It's just like, okay, let's just destroy all the lands. I already have a big board state because I stopped everyone else, right?
Right.
With Farewell, that also kills my things.
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
I like my things.
You're not really hurting for removal in this deck.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. Please continue.
Let's work our way from the let's see. For artifacts, honestly, it's Blade of Selves because that kind of hit really hard.
It's just some fun tech.
It's
fun.
expensive.
It's 6 mana, and you got to wait the turn usually to swing.
You gotta.
But
okay.
Shit, it is super fun. And also, it's 2 mana. Like you get to drop it out pretty early.
Mm-hmm. If not that, I would probably say Portal to Phyrexia because once that hits the board, it just hurts.
Disgusting.
Are you playing Repair? No, you're not playing Repair and Recharge because you only have one sorcery.
Yep.
That'd be a fun Repair and Recharge.
Actually, yeah, it might just be good in general.
Yeah. I will say, I thought you were going to say Coveted Jewel.
That was really fun. That was just a fun card.
So good. Usually when I'm playing Coveted Jewel, it's an Osgear, and I always plan to sacrifice it before I pass the turn as to not let other people get the jewel. But when you're playing such an oppressive deck like Elesh Norn, it just doesn't even matter. You're just laughing in the face, be like, swing at me.
I loved it.
Get 3 more cards. Help yourself to 3 more mana.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. You're not going to do anything relevant.
What was funny, because once I got that out and you took it, all 3 of you were attacking each other. And
yeah,
it was
and we
trying to
didn't
take
get
it.
any further. Like, I just don't think it did anything for us that game.
No. And then what was I gonna say? There's that Invoke Justice, which I think you could really, really like you would love in this deck, because one, it revives Elesh Norn. If you just if it dies, you just send it to the grave instead. It'll revive that, but it also gives you the opportunity to get Portal Phyrexia back.
Truth.
And you're playing mono whites.
Yeah, we're getting some of those spicy new white Reanimator cards hitting like different typings of creatures.
And then,
I'm excited to see how far those go.
Yeah, there's also, just like, since you're in monocolor, whenever I think about monocolor, I always think about extra planar lens. So playing like snow-covered plains.
Any single color.
Yeah, make sure that even if Elesh Norn dies, you're going to have 1,000,000 mana.
Because she will die.
I would say also because I printed these, right? Just like proxied them.
Yeah.
I do love the pixel.
Yeah, those are hot. Those are
Okay,
hot.
you guys can't see this, but
those pixel planes.
He did pick the 16-bit snow-covered plains from that secret lair, which I wish I had bought.
I just need 13 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your enchantment?
Enchantment. Ooh,
I got one I want to talk about.
let's see. Let's see. Talk about yours. Well,
I always love this enchantment, Felidar Retreat. I think it's amazing. It just has such good scalability in the game of Commander in 4-player. It's disgusting. Fetches, disgusting. When you can double ETBs, it's disgusting. It's a 3 and a white landfall. You get to either make a 2/2 cat or put a +1/+1 counter on every creature you control, and they gain vigilance. It is insane how differently powered the modes are.
Yeah. It's like, I know that for a long time when this card came out, everyone valued the cat creation.
Make the body,
for
make
some
the body,
reason.
make the
I'm
body.
just like, what are you doing?
A +1/+1 counter on every
Each
creature.
Yep.
And they gain vigilance. Don't even bother tapping them.
Yeah.
It's actually a crazy fucking card. We've played it in Cube. It destroys. We've played in Commander. It destroys. It's just so good. So when you can play a fetch and get 4 triggers in one turn with Elesh Norn, it's really, really, really good.
Yeah, the fact that you can play 5 fetches here in this deck just to get planes is really, really nice. Oh, yeah. Felidar Retreat's so great.
It's so good.
When it first came out in Ikoria, I looked at it and I bought like 6 of the showcase foils, and then they never went anywhere.
I just don't understand it. Like, we saw these pretty much right away. Like, they have such good playability.
It is $1
formats.
on Card Kingdom, which is like notoriously the most expensive platform to buy cards.
Yeah, that's insane to me because this is such a good card. And in our group, it kind of feels like a staple. We see this kind of all the time, I feel.
And kind of an awful artwork, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of trash.
Yeah.
Get the other one. It's not amazing, but it is better.
Yeah, the showcase is just a little bit better.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I just love that enchantment. Kyle, what'd you come up with?
Okay, so I'm going to pair these two together. It's the enchantment and my favorite creature.
Okay.
And it's because you don't expect it. It's on thin ice.
Yes.
Right? Because it is a removal spell for 1 mana, which turns into 2.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it enchants a land, so you can't really get rid of it. Unless you also play land destruction or very targeted enchantment.
You play land destruction.
I do. Yes, I do. And then favorite creature of this deck. So it's 2 of them, but probably Solitude.
Yeah.
Solitude is probably my favorite creature just because ETB, obviously, exile target creature, right? Trigger twice, right? Maybe trigger 4 times.
Yeah, a free exile 2 creatures is pretty awesome.
It's pretty good, and no one's expecting it.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'm playing mono white. I don't have a lot of instants that get removal, right? Kind of. There's a couple, but still.
Well, you have a lot of reanimation in this deck too. So I feel like Solitude has purpose just beyond the initial ETB, where like it's nice
with the evoke and then you reanimate.
Yeah, and that's where like these evoke cards are kind of busted, where we see like Uro and Kroxa be busted for different reasons, obviously. But the fact is, they send themselves to the graveyard, and reanimation is one of the strongest mechanics in the game.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more of it too.
Yep.
Yeah, Kyle, I just want to see the 1 mana ephemerate the free solitude and get 4 exiles.
I will love to see that.
Let me see that 1 mana exile 4.
Make it work.
Yep.
That will be the devastating day.
But yeah.
This is a fucking awesome deck. It is super, super cool to see. And it works. It just twerks.
I think you're going to, Lightning Graves is going to save you a lot of the time. It just depends how savage you want to be, right? And for all the listeners out there who are going to build this deck, who have already built this deck, I'm sure they're probably looking at Stoneforge Mystic like it's their best fucking friend.
Totally.
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 So it's, God, there's so much potential here.
Kyle has a great deck here, but we're talking about many cards that are not even in this deck. There's actually a lot of options, which you love to see in Mono-White. You actually have variety in options in building.
Hey, and the best thing about deck building, it's the journey. It's the journey on how you get there. It's not about the destination.
Taylor Swift should write a song about that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, that's Miley.
You're right.
Miley.
Oh, she.
It's the climb.
Wow, you can't say that. We're going to get sued.
Oh my gosh. Copyright.
They're coming.
There's always going to be another mountain.
Maybe we can
always going to want to make it move.
Maybe she can be our theme song moving forward.
That would be sick.
No, she'll guest.
Miley, if you're listening right now.
We love you.
She's actually a big Magic fan.
Huge Magic fan. Hit us in the DMs. Would love to get some kind of, some pro bono, we're not very rich theme song. It'd be great.
Maybe she'll sponsor us. We'll just keep using her.
Sponsored by Miley Cyrus, the human being.
Yeah.
If any of you out there know Miley Cyrus and can connect her with us, we are more than happy to sit down and have a meeting with her agent to figure something out.
Or her herself.
Or Miley herself.
Maybe you're best friends with her.
That would be sick, dude. I would love that. Kyle, do you have any closing thoughts on this deck?
No, but I'm going to be devastated. Or I'm going to make you real sad that I said I disassembled this deck.
No! You took it apart already?
I did.
Por qué?
I did. It was mean.
It was mean.
Actually, this kind of opens up another line. How have you enjoyed it in the 99 of your other deck?
Oh, it's amazing.
Actually, that's a great point because this is a great card in the 99.
No, I have it in my Elasil core deck.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Orzhov Aristocrats, and I have both Shieldred and Elesh Norn, the new ones, in that
Fun.
deck, and they are so mean in that deck.
They're
Super
gas.
mean.
They're all these new Praetors are gas.
Yeah, so I think it's amazing in the 99.
Except for
it's also amazing in the command zone.
Obviously, except for Russ. He's trash.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, I've even looked at this Elesh Norn, and I just told Jordan today, I'm putting this Elesh Norn in my Zakama deck.
Yeah.
It might as well be double mana. And then, the other thing is go ahead and play it in Rocco, because Rocco, for some reason, is an ETB effect. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to search your library for 2 creatures, go ahead and...
Rocco wins the game with Elesh Norn. Rocco kind of wins the game regardless. But, if you can put 2 creatures from your deck onto the battlefield, you win the game. We've seen Tooth and Nail Entwine does that and has done that for centuries now. This does it for less mana divvied up over 2 turns.
Yeah, you can also Eldritch Evolution Rocco into Elesh Norn and then go from there if you wanted to.
Disgusting.
So there are a lot of options here, and I'd love Elesh Norn because it not only is it strong in the command zone,
Best card.
it's incredibly strong in the 99, regardless of how you play it. I think I see it in a similar territory to Wandering Archaic, but with different usage, different potential, different value. It just instigates strategy that that wasn't there before.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So closing thoughts. Amazing in the 99. If you don't want to be a dick, put it in the 99.
It is going to be hard to bring this commander to your local game store on a commander night.
Oh yeah, it's going to be real mean. So
people will not want to play with you.
This is going to be one of those decks. It's going to be like an Oko kind of card.
Well, by the end of the night, I didn't want to play with me.
Yeah.
Well, it was.
We're just used to it. You know, it's our play
that's
group.
true, yeah.
It's like Turgrid. When Turgrid first came out, and it was one of the most popular commanders out there because of how savage it was. Everyone saw the lines immediately. You see the lines with Elesh Norn.
Yep.
It's going to be around for a while.
Tiny Bones card, kind of card.
You guys are probably already seeing it since the set has been out for 2 weeks. And
yeah,
probably has not been a lot of fun.
Let us know what you guys have been seeing out there with Elesh Norn. Like, what kind of impact she had? How are you guys playing it? Do you hate playing against it? Let us know.
Yeah, and we're basically begging you to pleading to comment on this YouTube video. Because if you do, we will send you a MoxStars sticker.
They look sick AF. You know this giant flashing screen you've been staring at for the last hour? It looks a lot like that.
It's exactly that.
That's not a bad thing. It looks sick as fuck.
Yeah, it looks good.
Put it on your deck box.
Put it on your deck box.
Yeah, we posted a couple times on our Instagram, which you can follow us there. We posted a couple pictures.
We post all the time, dude.
Posting all the time. And on that note,
you guys have been great. Thanks for putting up with us.
Love you,
Kyle. I appreciate you being on.
Thank you.
We got Chrissy Poo back in the studio on the mic next week.
We miss him. We miss playing with him.
We miss him.
Back in the saddle again.
So many copyright infringements in the second half of this.
Maybe I'm just gonna make an Elesh Norn deck that's just a complete dick, like what we were talking about.
Yeah, the evil
one.
And you just caveat going
Maybe
in.
next week.
Bring it.
We'll play a CEDH game.
Yeah, bring it on.
We'll see if we can
bring it, bitch.
If I can be fast enough.
Yeah, let's do it.
I do just want to get absolutely rolled by it at least once.
Yeah, I mean,
lean in.
I assumed you were already doing that when I asked you to build an Elesh Norn.
No, I was being nice.
Too nice.
I was being too nice.
You already were just a nightmare anyway.
Yeah, I know.
That's how good it is. All right, guys, we gotta fucking go. I gotta go play Overwatch. Let's get out of here. It's been the MoxStars podcast, y'all. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Deuces. Catch you next week. Love you.